Hi and welcome to tonight's interview. And my guest tonight is Sándor Dargo, who gives a talk about code reviews and teams and all the things connected to that. So let's get to know Sándor with a quick introduction. Sándor, what do you do with C++?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity for being here. So, what am I doing with C++? Well, currently I'm working for Spotify for the last almost 3 years, and before that I spent almost 10 years at a travel company called Amadeus, where that was my first C++ job. That's where I met basically C++ for the first time, and I have to tell you that I hated it. I was looking for a new team, and I got the promise that I will work with Java there, mostly Java, a bit of C++, but it turned out to be the other way around, and was struggling a bit. And one day I said, okay, I will either hate my job or I start learning more about C++. And I had a very good mentor who was very active in code reviews as well. And I made an obvious decision. And I'm not saying that, I know a lot, but at least I'm comfortable with C++. And I really enjoy getting into the details of the new standards and learn about what is coming. And I think that, for example, like writing about it is a very good way to learn, and also to pay forward a bit.
Mm. Yeah, I do enjoy your blog very much. And
Thank
you're
you.
one of the few people which, has a recurrent blog, which is often bringing new things.
Hmm.
And yeah, thank you for that.
That's the way I learn about these new things. So it's really my pleasure.
Yeah. Let's quickly get started with your talk. So obviously your talk is at the conference, which is in a few weeks, 9 weeks. Tomorrow we'll start the conference. And this is your talk, code reviews, building better code and stronger teams. So obviously we have this two components in your talk about code reviews, better code, and also kind of the angle on teams here. So what can we expect from your talk?
So yeah, you said there are two angles. There is one which is more technical, like how you end up writing better code, and also how you end up being in better teams. I think that the two things are tightly connected. Well, sometimes there can be individuals writing good code in bad teams, but I don't think that's really sustainable. And I think in most like corporate environments, there are people with very different backgrounds, very different levels of experience, and code reviews are just a great way to share knowledge, to bring each other up to a similar level, and also to make things better or worse. Because like code reviews are often cause stress and conflict. And I know that sometimes people, just okay, I received a comment, and they they just don't even want to open up the pull request again to see what someone might have told them. So I'm going to talk about these different aspects, and what things we should avoid when we are doing code reviews, and what other approaches we should take to make sure that our comments are welcome, and they are actually useful.
have a different talk on the conference about that. But that's part of the online track, so you're not meeting Tina on the conference about that, unfortunately. But yeah, so maybe let's get started. How do you do code reviews at your place, or like, are you, just how do you do code reviews currently?
Well, how do I do code reviews currently? Maybe that's not what I should really share right now. I tell you why. Because now I ended up in a virtual team where there are people with both very deep C++ and domain knowledge, and I can't really teach them new things. I can't really help them to make things that much better. But I think that when you are a senior plus engineer in a team where there are both there are people of each and every level of seniority, you really have to make sure that you look at code from different angles, and you both look at code from you're looking for low level details, but you're also looking for a high level point of view to make sure that the architecture right, to make sure that it fits the current VMs, fits the current code base, but you also have to make sure that the small things, names of each variable, names of different entities are there. And then if something is not right, then you should make sure that you don't just say, hey, I don't like it, change that. You should try to make sure that, you make propositions or you ask questions. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And you also share some information like why you think that another approach should be considered. And ideally, you could also share some references. Like if you say that, I think that, thinking about an example. I can't really come up with a good example, but you say that something should be done differently because you think that it would be better. You should also explain why it should be better. And if you have an external reference from a blog post from a conference talk, then refer to that, because it gives you credibility, and it also gives the option to not just the author of the code, but for the others reviewing the code to go deeper on the topic and maybe learn something new.
Yeah, it's true. And of course, the team dynamic and in which place you work and how things are handled are.
And that takes time,
Yeah.
So it's longer. It might not fit each and every team. That's what I referred to earlier. But I don't think that if you do this, it's a waste of time, because you might even end up with your personal templates. Like I used to have these just a text file with usual references that I make in code reviews and some short explanations. which is particularly useful if you are working with different teams at the same time and on different repositories, and you don't have to find the same things again and again. Just make sure that you don't always copy paste the same thing, because that doesn't seem right. But at least you can save the references.
Yeah. So do you have any tips on tools to use for, like, to prepare code reuse or to support code reuse?
Well, not really, because if I think about it, like, what tools do you use for code reviews? It depends on the team. It depends on the company. At some places we use Bitbucket, and then use Bitbucket. Some other places we use GitHub. But when it comes to, for example, these templates, what I find that, well, most of the things they support Markdown. I mean, Bitbucket supports Markdown, GitHub supports Markdown, if I remember well about Bitbucket. And if you save your templates as Markdown text, then it will look nicer when you share your thoughts. I think that's important. Yeah, like well, it's not really a tool, but just to know Markdown enough that you can format your code review comments nicely. They look much better.
Mm-hmm.
They just look more professional, I think.
So that's not an
you use some tools? I'd ask back. Well, I can't really, but I'm interested. What tools could you use?
That's a good question to the audience if they're using tools. I think, like, AI has become popular, and I know that there's definitely some AI out there to automate or help us, or to just scan basically the merge or check in and give feedback on that.
Yes,
but
we do that. We actually have it. We have it at Spotify, but it's not. I would say it's not a tool that I use for my code reviews, right? Because it's there. It shares its opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I can imagine. Okay, that's something I actually did. Like I saw some row loops, and I was like, okay, this could be rewritten using some standard algorithms, but I couldn't just write it from my top of my head. And well, I shared it with ChatGPT. Okay, just make this more modern and simplify it with some standard algorithm, and then said, okay, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? Because it doesn't always make sense, but if it does, and maybe not on the first round and the second, third, then I can share it back to the code review that, well, maybe you could consider using this standard algorithm.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to use ranges and standard algorithms in code nowadays.
Yeah, and that's often that. Well, it often happens that people, I say, neglect it on the first round, and when they submit their code.
So, reading your description, you seem to more want to focus on the human side of code reviews, right? On the team dynamics, on how to treat people well, etc.
Yes, because as I mentioned in the beginning, like code reviews is often a source of stress, and it might even be a source of stress in a different way that you would expect. Let me give you, which is a funny example. Like we had been in that team, a couple of us, for a long time, and we became friends. Like, that was 10 years ago, and we still meet from time to time. We are in different companies now, with different cities, but still. And we made some fun in our code review. Probably not very appropriate fun, and or N+2 manager called me in, like, "What's that, Sándor?" Like, well, I said nothing wrong. We were just having fun. And, like, okay, I know that you guys are friends and so on, but we are handing over this code to another team on a different continent, and they are reading this, and probably they won't understand your fun, which, as I said, is often not. It was not very gentle and kind. And yeah, you even to each other, but we knew that it was not meant like that. Well, if it stays there, just like if you post something to social media, it will stay there, and people
And of
will
course,
read it.
you put stuff in code comments or
Code comments, yeah, like how can you write that horrible piece of code, stuff like that. And you have to think about not only about the relationship of you and the author, but also about the perception that it makes to everyone else. But that's just a very simple example, because it often happens that when we write we write a code review, a comment and a code review, and we mean it well, but it's written. When the other person reads it, they don't hear your voice, they don't see your gestures, and I think that actually what you say, what you write, is just like maybe 20% of the whole communication flow, because your tone and the gestures are more important, and those things are missing from code reviews. So you really have to think twice how it reads what you write down, because if you're on already good terms with the other, probably it will not harm that much. But if it's a newer team, or that's just a new person on the team, or you are the new person, it can really make things worse, both for you and the other. And if you can articulate your comments in a way that's constructive, it reads constructive, then people will feel better to ask for your opinion about the code, even outside of code reviews. But I've seen that maybe the best person on the team was really avoided during code reviews. Like, team members did their best to hide pull requests from certain people just to avoid their comments, even though they could have learned a lot. But they were often harsh.
Yeah.
So I think we really have to think about these aspects, and make sure that we help the team with our comments.
It's very much different in various places. I mean, I'm working on my own code basis, and I'm not part of a team, so I have no idea what code reviews means nowadays. And when I was a freelancer, I was always surprised how little the companies cared about the code. They cared that it worked, and rarely I had to, explain it to the teams where I worked with. They were just happy that the functionality was there. But on tooling, I actually have a comment from a speaker which I interviewed last time. First speaker we interviewed, Andrej Ciso, and he says Copilot has become an integral part of his code reviews, helps him spot things he may have missed, and also helps him with missing domain knowledge, and even with other languages like C# and assembly code that previously he refrained from reviewing. Also saves the team a lot of questions which he can direct to Copilot rather than bothering them. And yeah, I think that's also, I see there's a second comment which kind of goes in the same direction, that they also use Copilot as an assistant in review, that this basically provides some feedback and value and spots like the easy errors, such as, copy and paste. Who does that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. So I said we have, we introduced these automated code reviews. So whenever you open a pull request, Copilot will make some comments on the code. But when this was first introduced, the quality of comments were really low. And I think that many people, they started to just completely ignore whatever comments they get from AI, because the bad experience they had. And I don't think that we've managed to integrate those comments. I mean, we have them, but I don't think I think that sometimes we don't even look at them because of the bad experience.
I think that for junior people, this might be a good way to have a fast feedback loop that basically you have to pass the AI agent to get to the real review, and hence saves time for your reviews.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm not sure how much you can trust AI with having that gatekeeping role, and then
I don't think you can do that at all. Like what I find is that even in a relatively small code base, like a few 100,000 of lines of code, it cannot even properly explore the different internal APIs that we use, and it just makes things up. Like, okay, this is the code, but we don't have any of those functions. But I don't think it's there yet.
Yeah, you have to review the AI and the code review then again, and then you get into recursion.
I think it's useful, but it cannot replace code reviews. But I find it that often, it's a good thing. I think that before you open a pull request and you ask for code review comments, you actually review your code. And, sometimes you see things that probably this is not right. I don't really know how to write it better. And then if you go to the Copilot and ask, okay, can you make this better? I was thinking about like using some standard algorithm, something already implemented in the standard, and probably not for sure, but maybe it will find it for you and it will propose that, and then you can rewrite that piece of code. But that's not really about code reviews, right? It's about how you write your code.
Indeed. So what's going to be then the thing which is kind of the takeaway from your talk? What do you want people to learn?
Well, I want people to learn about different things that can make their code review comments much worse, make them aware that their tone matters a lot. I mean, the words they are putting there because they cannot transmit their tone. By the way, that would be maybe an interesting new tooling for code reviews, where you could save your comment as voice clip or even a video, and it would probably remove this problem of the missing tone and missing gesture. And I think that's also important to know that well, maybe for you when you see like okay, there's an incoming pull request, I should make the review. Well, I will make it later. I think that you should make sure that you do it in a reasonable time frame, because it's blocking other people from moving forward. And you have, I think, especially when you are a senior in a team, you should prioritize that. Think that people should also note that if their comment lack explanation, maybe the other person will not understand, because you might make a comment that, hey, you should have used this here. And well, there are two possibilities. The other person just missed that because, well, we miss things, or that the other person doesn't know about it. And if they don't know about it, then your comment that okay, you should just use that will not help that much. You should put in the time and give some explanation why that would be good, and probably put their reference as well. That well, if you want to go farther, then this is where you should look at it, because well, of course, you cannot. You cannot write a blog post for every code review comment, right?
You can search for it.
Uh,
And is giving feedback on code and doing code reviews gets you into mentoring. And I wanted to kind of, see if you like, what is your opinion on mentoring or your experience on mentoring?
I think that code reviews are a really good way for mentoring in different ways, because so as a mentor, you can be on both parts of a code review. You can be the author, and you can also be a reviewer. And probably it's more obvious how you can mentor when you are a reviewer of the code. Well, basically, you have to, I think, follow the things that I proposed, not because I proposed it. Don't get me wrong, but I think that okay, if you give the information, you give the context, you give the references, then it will help the other person. That's a way of mentoring. But if you are the author of a piece of code, and you know that some people who you might even officially mentor, they are reviewing your code. And I think that there is very big value in junior people reviewing seniors' code. I can get back to that later. Maybe you can comment your own code, the code review, because there you can highlight things that, okay, I use this idiom here, I use that standard feature there, because, and well, here are the references if you want to learn more about this. So you can put their comments that you wouldn't put into the code. You wouldn't put those as comments into the code because, well, it just, it's not a good comment to explain why you use, I don't know, stud copy instead of row loop. But maybe in a code review, you can put that comment, and it will help other people with less experience looking at your code.
So you're always coming back on comment. So for you, it's like the important or part of a code review is that you have a comment. And I do want to kind of ask you for a clarification. Is that like a comment in the code where, or like, I mean, potentially it's part of that, right? Or is there like...
can you repeat it, please?
I mean, comment can mean many things. So it's kind of ambiguous when you say comment.
Okay. Yeah, I meant when you write a comment in a pull request, not
Yes.
a comment
okay.
within the code. Yeah, I should have made it clearer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just what. All right, so let's get on. There is actually now questions from the audience, and let's get to these. I find them rather interesting. So, how are the reviewers picked in your team? How do you ensure that the load is balanced in the team? Which I think is really interesting questions.
That's a very interesting question. I've been working as a developer for 13 years or so, and I've never been in a team where reviewers were picked. It was always free for all. Like anyone could review code, and in teams that were more junior heavy, so to say, we had a formal rule that we needed at least 2 approvals for a pull request, and there were only a few repositories. They were usually small but very important, mostly about configurations, where there was a small group of people from where at least one person had to approve the pull request, and the other person could have been anyone else. We were thinking like maybe once or twice in a previous company to only allow certain people to give approvals because of some bad experience, but we thought that in the long run it would hurt more to team dynamics. Plus, it wouldn't have been good for the load balance as you asked. So when anyone can review code, then usually the balance will be just fine. And sometimes, we had to complain at weekly team meetings that, hey, you should prioritize code reviews a bit more because people are blocked. But I also find that when there are 1 or 2 people who show example there, say, hey, here is my, I just did the review, and you put it in the team channel, that will motivate the others to also handle it as priority. When it was not really a priority issue, like sometimes it's just you have a very active team chat, and you lose track of pull requests. Then what we did is like we opened a new chat dedicated only for posting there your pull requests, and it did the job. But we never really picked reviewers. But I know that there are companies where it happens. I have a friend of mine who said like a year ago that I was promoted and now I'm doing the code reviews. Like, you were not doing code reviews before. No, because that's part of the senior role. I'm like, well, okay, that's interesting. I personally see value in everyone reviewing code because if I think about like a specific team where I really saw this working, uh, you know, more senior people, they tended to review code from a high level perspective, from an architectural point of view. But there were some less experienced people who were really eager to learn, and they did their best to read pull requests really like line by line, and they pointed out each typo. And I said, okay, this name, it doesn't make sense to me for for the smallest variables. You received comments from them that you would never really receive from a more senior person because they focus on different things. Nowadays, maybe some of these comments will be replaced by AI, by the way, but I don't think that all of them. I think that these juniors reviewing the code, it also helps them to learn faster about
Yeah.
about
That would be my next question to you. What have you learned about C++ from doing code reviews?
well, so many things. I think so many things. Like sometimes you just see something from the standard library that you didn't know before, and you say, "Oh, okay, uh, you can actually do that." But I remember that when I was well, it's a very silly example, so to say. I was taught in code reviews like why I should pass, you know, uh, parameters by const reference and not by value. As I said when I joined my first team, I didn't really know anything about C++. Everything was new to me. I was not even working in programming before because I spent 3 years for that in database administration, and usually I received tons of code review comments, and I often had to ask back, okay, but why? Or what do you mean? What does it mean? And people came and they explained, or sometimes they didn't come to my desk, but they really explained in the tool that we used back in time. And some of the most fundamental things that most of the people here will say, huh, okay, you didn't know that, but yeah, well, you have to learn those basic things somewhere from someone, and I think most of the fundamental knowledge I got from code review comments, and I could still name like 2-3 people who who did that to me.
Okay, so there's a audience question from Philip Jeske. Do you have some kind of guidelines, like code guidelines, core guidelines? I probably in C++ one wants to mention here on how to do reviews in place, and what is your recommendation?
Code guidelines on how to review. Well, when it comes to code guidelines, I think that the best thing you can do is, well, you shouldn't really need them because most of these things should be automated, I think. Like when it comes to style, when it comes to some static things that you can check, those things can be and should be automated. I'm thinking both about formatting and static code analyzers. In some teams, we developed some guidelines, yes, like what kind of things you should look for as a code reviewer. Like you make sure that things are properly tested. Well, that can be kind of automated as well, but it's not always good. So you should check for certain kind of security issues, and there we had a couple of things to look out for. Or you should make sure that variables are well named, and they read well, they are meaningful. But we never really used a very detailed static guideline. But maybe there would be value to develop some. But I think when it comes to style guide and when it comes to a style guide, I don't think that you have the style guide on one screen and you have the pull request on another, and you make sure that it just fits well, because that's very tedious, and that can be automated.
True.
I know this is a question I take note of, and maybe in 9 weeks I'll be able to recommend some.
I think there's some good questions in here for your talk.
Yes, definitely. There is a big value in this, yeah.
So if you have any more questions, now's the opportunity to ask on the chat, and then I think I'm through with my questions, and I'm definitely forward to your talk, and I'm curious to see what you then learn from today, and what will be the topic on your talk. And I think it's like now talking, I had to think about last year's keynote, which opened the conference, from Tyler Winters, which also very much was on the soft sides, on teams, security, etc., and how people feel, and that when people feel good and welcome on their team, that people are better, giving better results, and are more productive. And I know you were at the conference last year. You saw that keynote, so that's probably some things you can take inspiration for your talk from.
That was one of my favorite talks from last year. It was really a great one.
All right. So seems no more questions, which is fine. Thank you for your time, Sándor. And
thanks a lot, Jens, for the opportunity. And if anyone thinks that, I haven't answered the question, or if they have more questions, you know how to find me. I think with this name, I'm the only one on LinkedIn. So.
All right. Anyways, if you have any more questions, you can put them in the chat, and I will forward it to Sándor. And with that, I close the stream. Thank you for watching this, or watching this later. And thank you for your questions. And thank you to Sándor to coming around and taking the opportunity to give an interview about his talk.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening, everyone.